I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
Very excited. Joining me is lead singer of Tigercub, Jamie Hall. Jamie, how are you, man?
Not too bad, thanks. Yeah, very well.
Thank you so much for the time, man. I know that you guys are busy on the road right now. Actually, before we got started, you mentioned that you are literally on the road right now. Are you with the fellas in the van on to your next stop?
Yes, currently in the van. The boys are in the back, all snug and secure. And yeah, we got a show tonight at the end in Nashville, which we're really excited for. And we're just currently en route.
Very rock and roll of you to call me from the van, which is that early stage of any band's career before you get the big tour buses and the private jets and you go all, Iron Maiden on everyone. You got to do it in the van first. How has it been for you guys? Obviously, you're from the UK and getting out. You've made enough tours around, or at least trips around the US. How's that been for you? Is it a little bit different than touring around the UK?
Yes. So I think the UK could comfortably fit into the state of Texas maybe a few times. So the scale of America is something that really blows our minds every time we come here. And the drives are long, but the country's beautiful and it's so exotic to us as Englishmen. We're just loving it. Yeah, you're right. We're not on a bus. We're in a van, but that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
We feel like, pirates or something. We're just off the grid. Just, freewheeling it around, doing stuff. Love it.
Our UK rock and roll pirates. I think that's a perfect way to put that. Well, safe travels and good luck on your show. Let's talk new music here. Obviously, the album, The Perfume of Decay, which is out now. The title track, I believe, hit 28 on the mainstream rock chart. So people are obviously loving it here in the States, loving it all over the place. This is your third studio album. You're seasoned at this point,
yes,
but probably still a little wet behind the ears. So with what you guys put together on this album, what maybe stood out compared to the first and even second records that you put together?
Well, I guess one of the things that was different about this record for us is that it was I produced it without assistance from another producer. So on the second record, it was a co-production effort with a chap called Adrian Bushby, who's super talented. So this time we were really let loose in the studio, just free reign, just able to go into detail in places where we maybe hadn't before and just try a lot of new stuff out and experiment with things. So that, for me, is something that really separates this record apart. It's the most Tigercub record you could probably get because there's no influence from outside parties, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, and that actually kind of brings up a follow-up question. Having that freedom, was it a little daunting at first? Was it freeing, being able to kind of explore that Tigercub space strictly as the band Tigercub?
Yeah, so fortunately, like you say, we've been able to make 2 records already, and we've been in the studio quite a lot, so we're very comfortable with how all the equipment works and how to get the best out of the equipment that's right in front of us. We operate out of a place in Brighton called Brighton Electric. It's a really great studio that our bass player Jimmy actually runs, and we've done every record there. So we're super comfortable with the place. We know everyone. We know how to get the best out of that equipment. So with that context, it was amazingly freeing to work in that environment because we weren't stuck for 3 hours trying to get a sound out of the speakers. We were like, right, good to go. This is how we do it. Let's point the mics in the right place. I came up with a little game plan of particular sounds that I want us to get and particular directions I wanted the mics to point in and mic selections and different things like that. And once we got the basics out of the way, we could really just tone hunt, and just keep digging, keep pushing for really cool, kind of obscure tones, across the board and play around with texture and stuff like that. Our drummer James had this quite heavy set of chains that we bought from a hardware store that he was wearing the whole time when he was playing the kit, and that created this ethereal kind of background texture to everything. So we were able to play around with different ideas like that. Just give the record a bit more of a sonic fingerprint, you know?
That's so cool, and I always love that. I'm trying to remember what album that kind of reminded me of, you know, with the chains around your drummer's neck. I can't think. You might know, because I know you're a little bit of a music historian, but there's a record from the 80s where they put the drum kit in a hallway, like in a stairwell, to get that sound. So being able to explore and expand.
Yeah.
Do you think, evolutionarily speaking, with this sound of this album, you guys really found what makes you, what makes Tigercub?
I would like to think so, and I hope that people who listen to the record think so too.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite a subjective thing, but yeah, that's our aim, is to really uncover like who we are, what we sound like, what is ours that no one else has. You know, and that can be a life's work sometimes. You know, because music's just inherently self-referential, and it's kind of like a conversation between, you know, music that you've heard in the past and the music that you're currently making, you know. So there's always references and influences going on there, and like trying to dig out what actually makes us special as like three individuals in a band, you know, is something that can take time. But I really feel like on the Perfume of Decay, we found something that's ours on this record. You know, it's super dark, it's super heavy. Sometimes it's almost like heavy metal heavy, you know, but then it goes super soft. You know, I sang whisper quiet vocals, just drizzled that on top of this like super heavy instrumental that we created. I feel like that's starting to point us in the right direction, you know?
Yeah.
Starting to get us closer to something that's ours.
Well, people are obviously loving it. Like I said, the title track, The Perfume of Decay, hit 28, and you guys are just making noise everywhere you go. And you brought up something there that people may not know, especially when they listen to the record and they hear the depth of the sound. You're a three-piece band, and I love three-piece bands because most of them make so much racket, and you're like, there's no way there's only three guys doing that. What's special to you about what's special about a three-piece, maybe compared to a six-piece or whatever ensemble? What do you like about that?
Yeah, being a three-piece is great. I mean, I think ultimately with fewer members, you can kind of sound heavier if you know how to tweak things in the right way. And, you know, I think what it does is it creates a limitation, and limitations are a really useful thing to as a creative person. You know, I think it's like Frank Zappa said, like, necessity is the mother of invention, you know? So it's like, that really helps us, those boundaries and restrictions, that's a really useful creative tool to have. And some buddies of ours from Brighton as well, Royal Bloods, I mean, they make an even bigger noise, and they've only got two members, you know? So there's kind of there's a pattern emerging here,
right?
You know?
Right. And there's more room in the van, too, so that helps. That definitely makes it a little bit easier, so.
Exactly, man, yeah. Lower overhead.
Exactly. Do you got a favorite track on the album? Maybe one that really resonates with you?
I mean, they're all my babies. They're all my song babies, so you're making me pick between my children, but that's okay. There's a song on the record called We're a Long Time Gone, and it's a more downbeat number, more of an acoustic number with a little bit of piano accompaniment, bass and drums still. But I feel like that to me really like showcases our love of the craft of songwriting, you know, using tasteful arrangements and instrumentation to deliver a song, rather than just putting all the amps on 10 and going for it, because we love doing that. But you know, on a record across 40 minutes, you need a little bit of ebb and flow, you need dynamics, and I feel like We're a Long Time Gone sits bang in the middle of the record. That really showcases that side of us. So for listeners, you know, they think we're just like a riff-heavy rock band. We are that, but we also have slow jams as well, you know?
I love it. I love it. If people aren't excited yet, they should be after hearing this. Of course, The Perfume of Decay is out now, Tigercub's third studio album. Let's say it's 20 years down the road, you know, 30 years of Tigercub. You guys got a couple Grammys. You got, you know, another 7, 8, 9 records out there. You look back at this at that point, 20 years down the road, you take a look back at your third album, The Perfume of Decay. What's future Tigercub going to feel about this record?
That's such a great question. What is future Tigercub going to think about our third record?
Right.
Well, if we've progressed in the way that I hope we have as human beings and songwriters, we should be embarrassed of that record, because we'll have gotten so much better by then that all of this stuff in the rearview mirror is just child's play. Do you know what I mean?
I love that answer.
Maybe that.
Yeah. I love it. We'll get together all these years down the road, and you're like, don't play that garbage. We were young and dumb.
Yeah.
We didn't know what we were doing.
Exactly. Don't embarrass us.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Rock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.
I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
Before I let you go, now that we've got the important stuff out, the music stuff, I want to have a little fun with you guys and talk about, because I know you guys are from Brighton, and I want to make sure I say that right, because I know you guys always say things different over there across the pond from us, and I don't want to sound like some Yankee, but from Brighton. So I looked up some Brighton slang, some Sussex slang. First, and this is a noun, Pav Tav.
Oh, Pav Tav, come on now. We're talking about the Pav Tav on US radio. Okay, so the Pav Tav, that is short for the Pavilion Tavern.
Yes!
Now that's a boozer in Brighton, right? Which is legendary. You know, that's the cheap indie rock bar where all the bands used to go down back in the day and, you know, get absolutely annihilated for £1 a pint, maybe $1-2 a pint. You know, that was the place to be. So, wow, that's a real trip down memory lane.
Well, okay,
right in the center of Brighton.
We're starting off great. So that would be a dive bar here in the United States, and I'm sure you guys have seen some of those going through. So the Pav Tav, if you're looking, is it still around or is it gone?
Yeah, it's still going. I mean, it's a shadow of its former self. It's shut down, and then it's been reopened as something a little bit more upmarket. So, you know, you won't find people with much dirt under their fingernails in there, you know, anymore, or any sort of bouffant hairstyles or anything like that. But still a decent booze nonetheless. All
right. Well, I feel like we're off to a great start. So Pav Tav, it's a thing. It's a real thing. Okay, what about chunder?
Chunder. Well, okay. If I was to use that in a sentence, it would be, I need to make a tactical chunder.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's now, exactly what I have down.
Let me tell you what a tactical chunder is, okay?
Yes.
So if you've been drinking, right, which we all do, and you want to stay out longer, but you feel sick because you've had too much booze, you'll go to the toilet, and just like the Romans did, you'll make yourself sick. And we call that a tactical chunder, so that you're back in the game. You can keep drinking.
So you and I, us, and everyone across the pond, the UK, we're all the same. For us, that's called puke and rally. That's what we do. We puke and then we rally back. Yeah. So
yeah, I like that. I like puke and rally.
Yeah.
Wow.
So tactical chunder is just the UK puke and rally. That's all it is.
That's it. Maybe our version's a little bit more discreet.
Yes. We just throw it out there. We throw it out there. But of course, you know, you guys are a little more refined than us, so it makes sense. Okay, so we're 2 for 2. This is awesome. Okay, what about a flittermouse?
Oh, okay, you've got me there. I don't know. Maybe, what is that, a flittermouse?
A flittermouse, yeah.
Tell you what, I've got the boys behind me. Let me just throw it out to them, if I may confer.
Yes,
and see if they've heard of that. Boys, have you heard of a flittermouse as a saying? No, it's a no from us, dog.
Okay.
We've never heard of that.
That is Sussex dialect for a bat. That must be old-timey word for like,
bat.
Yeah, for like a flying bat.
Mouse.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, you're teaching me something now.
All right, good. We're getting into the history books.
I'll have to write that one down.
Okay, last one. Monkey's birthday. Do you know what a monkey's birthday is in Sussex or Brighton?
Boys, what's a monkey's birthday in Sussex slang terms?
A monkey's birthday?
Yeah.
In
Sussex terms. Have you ever heard that before?
A monkey's birthday?
I just love
We would have, to counter that, we don't know it, but there is something called monkey's blood that we'll put on ice cream in the UK, which is sort of like a really syrupy, strawberry-flavored sort of sauce that you would put on something we call like a 99 cone.
Okay.
Which is, just like your basic kind of ice cream.
So it has
no.
nothing to do with ice cream or a delicious cherry topping. No, a monkey's birthday, according to my research in Sussex slang, is used to describe when the sun shines but it rains at the same time.
Okay, boy, so it means when the sun shines but it rains at the same time.
Which, is that common around there?
Yeah, that is quite common, yeah. I mean, I guess we just call that summer rain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you get that every now and again. There's always clouds somewhere full of rainfall in England. You know, we get quite attached to it. Very overcast. You know.
Well, maybe next time you're back home and you see it kind of sunshiny and rainy, be like, "Well, Monkey's birthday coming," and you'll blow someone's mind. It'll be great.
Oh yeah. Well, next time I'm at the Pav Tav, I'll have a bunch of new words and sayings to show off to people about.
Next time you're at the Pav Tav and you have to have a tactical chunder, you see a flittermouse outside, and then you come back in and you say it's going to be a monkey's birthday out there, and no one will know what the hell you're talking about. They'll be like, "What the hell is going on with this guy? He's lost it. He's lost it."
Yeah. I've got a bit of rhyme and slang for you if you want before we go.
I would love it.
Okay, so I live in Brighton and I have done for 10 years now, but I was actually brought up in the northeast of England in a place called Sunderland, which is kind of near Newcastle.
Okay.
And we've got a term called corned beef, and that's if you don't hear something properly. So up north, we pronounce deaf as deef.
Okay.
And deef rhymes with beef. So it's like, there's a couple of layers there you got to get through. But if you're ever up in Newcastle or Sunderland and someone says, "Sorry, mate, I'm corned beef," that means they can't hear you properly, and you need to repeat what you've just said.
And you know what? I might have to use that. I'm going to start using that because I'm hard of hearing, being in this industry for way too long. So I'm just going to start saying that.
Me too.
And people are going to be like, "Wow, I don't know what that guy said. He sounds smart, but I'm not 100% sure." I love it.
Yeah. That's great.
Oh, my God. Well, good. That was fun with some Sussex slang. Couple more for you. And this is just for me. I do a thing called rapid fire. So just go with your gut instinct. No wrong answers on this one. Would you rather see Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster?
Loch Ness. Nessie.
Which, by the way, too, I guess researchers say that they think that was just a whale penis originally.
Oh, wow, it's a whale penis, yeah.
Because,
like a severed one.
Yeah, no, not a severed. So I guess sometimes whales will breach the water and their penis will be out.
Oh.
They're getting
good intel. All right.
Getting a little air.
I just thought it was like, I don't know, an eel or something.
Yeah, no, they think that's what it might be. So, it's getting a little air on that whale penis. Would you rather fight a man with bare arms or a bear with man arms?
I would say maybe a man with bare arms, because you might not be able to get quite the purchase that a bear with man arms could get. Because from what I'm told, bears are like insanely strong.
Yeah.
So, whatever the bear's got on the end of its arms is going to do some damage. Whereas like a male torso, maybe that won't be so bad, right?
Hey, I think
what do you think? What would you choose out of those two?
For me, I think I'd do the man with bare arms because, and actually, I asked this question.
Smart choice.
I asked this to everyone.
That's the thinking man's choice,
right,
I think.
Exactly. That's the thinking man's choice right there. Someone pointed out that he'd run really weird because his arms would be too long, so he'd be kind of gangly. And I'm like, that's a good point. Yeah,
he might gas out quicker.
Yeah, exactly. Hauling around those bare arms he's got attached to his body. All right, last one, I swear to God, and then I'll let you go. Would you rather have soaked jeans or damp socks?
You know what? I don't mind either. I would rather have damp socks.
You said
because apparently that's good for a hangover, right? If you wear damp socks, isn't that like Ron Swanson's hangover cure from Parks and Recreation?
I think you're right. You go to bed.
Steak.
Yeah, eat a steak and wear wet socks to bed. You won't have I think you're absolutely right.
That's it.
Oh, my God.
It's a hangover cure for you.
Jamie, thank you for humoring me. More importantly, thank you so much for putting out a kick-ass new album, The Perfume of Decay, Tigercub. It's out now. Go get it. Go see him. And I'm sure we're going to see plenty more from these fellas from the UK. Jamie, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thanks for your support.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Rock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.